In today's video, I'd like to talk to you about something essential: true self-love and the function of pain. As Jiddu Krishnamurti once said, the most important relationship we have in our lifetime is the one with ourselves. All other relationships, they're really just mirrors and projections. It all starts with how you treat yourself, with that constant inner dialogue you're having every single moment. Because here's the truth. What you say to yourself is key in your emotional strength. In the words you speak to yourself, in the way you talk to yourself, in how you treat yourself. When a loved one suffers, you feel compassion, right? But when it's you who's hurting, do you show yourself the same compassion? Do you treat yourself with the same self-love as you would a dear friend? Let's explore the role of pain and its importance in the journey of self-discovery. Did you know that pain is, in fact, a teacher? It forces us to look at ourselves, to question everything, to dig deeper beyond the layers that hide our truth. Only through pain can we truly get to know ourselves and grow. Let's dive into the topic of discernment, starting with a Stoic mantra that's worth its weight in gold. God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. Boom. Because not everything is within my control. But what is, I hold on to with strength, and what isn't, I let go with peace. That's the key. Knowing when to act, knowing when to let go, and never confusing the two. A happy person isn't someone who's always happy, but someone who interprets events in a way that keeps their inner peace intact. All right, let's first tackle the topic of pain, something that's inherent to life itself. And then, separately, we'll discuss how to manage the smaller and medium-sized adversities we face. First, it's essential to understand the vital role of pain. Nature is wise. Why do we suffer? The natural mechanism of the mind is to think the worst. It's simply a survival instinct. That's how it works. The human mind is literally designed to expect the worst. It's a protective mechanism, an evolutionary strategy we've had since ancient times to keep us safe from danger. It's the law of Darwinian evolution, the survival of the species. Yes, sometimes it causes unnecessary suffering, but that's its tendency. We can't just go against it. If something is perceived as a threat, our mind will create a dark fantasy world to try and protect us. Whether we like it or not, this is how we're designed. One strategy that helps us calm the mind by creating distance and enabling us to observe our thoughts, rationalize them, and in this way change our mindset, is mindfulness. I'll leave a link in the description below to videos that dive deeper into this ancient technique, which is also supported by scientific studies that have proven its benefits. And fundamentally, the support of a trusted therapist is highly recommended, and in severe cases, it's a must. From my point of view, ideally, it should be someone who combines psychology with spirituality. Make sure they're a happy person who knows how to enjoy life. And more importantly, someone who possesses the wisdom to guide you emotionally, helping you heal childhood wounds, challenge limiting beliefs, and shine light on your darkest shadows. Let's begin by talking about emotional wounds, about trauma. But here's the key. It's essential to understand that cognitive distortions, those distorted, exaggerated, obsessive thoughts that bombard us and destabilize our minds, don't just appear out of nowhere. This is crucial to grasp as psychology teaches us. People will experience distorted, obsessive thoughts related to certain topics they are vulnerable to. But why is it that some people are vulnerable in the first place? What's the underlying cause of this vulnerability? These thoughts will be linked to sensitive areas in a person's life history, issues they've suffered emotionally. For example, someone who experienced financial struggles in childhood, or suffered bullying, or any type of unresolved emotional trauma, these will act like an infected wound. And when you touch it, it hurts. If there's no infected wound around a particular issue, it won't sting when it's brushed. But if there is, it will flare up every time, no matter how lightly you touch it. So, when the mind has these distorted thoughts, it becomes reactive and stays on high alert to anything related to that issue. It exaggerates, personalizes, tries to control it obsessively, or looks for absurd answers to believe in, all in an effort to protect itself. Emotional wounds, as I mentioned before, are not something you can simply stop obsessing over or let go of easily. When something causes you deep harm, your mind will do everything it can to avoid feeling that way again, to prevent that problem from resurfacing. And cognitive distortions? They're just one of the strategies your mind uses to protect you. Fighting with the mind without understanding it is exhausting. What you resist persists, said Jung. The mechanism of the mind is to focus on the problem so it can be managed, because it perceives it as a threat. Let's put it this way. We need to address the root of the problem, the infected wound, not just mask it with a simple painkiller. And only through understanding comes acceptance, compassion, and proper management. Painful experiences help us understand who we are and why certain issues affect us so deeply. They reveal our emotional wounds, what hurts the most. It allows us to become aware of our emotional wounds and begin to heal them. That's what's truly liberating. You simply can't ask an abused child to feel real love when they hug their abuser, or force them to say, "I love you." But sometimes pain isn't caused by a wound or trauma. Life is beautiful, but it's also tough, cruel at times. There are misfortunes and hard blows, an illness, the death of a loved one, infidelity, a painful breakup, a job loss. These all bring immense discomfort and emotional pain, and that's completely natural. Some wounds, in fact, can only be healed by time, little by little. When they come, the world stops. Irremediably, you suffer through them. Here, I must mention something that the positivist movement sometimes get wrong. What the prevailing trend in today's marketing and self-help industry sells is the idea that you should simply put on some happiness glasses and act like Roberto Benigni in life is beautiful. But the truth is, life is tough, very tough often, and that's not the solution. These approaches lead many down a dangerous path of emotional repression, which psychology agrees is one of the main causes of mental health issues, even severe ones. When life hits us hard, these approaches can even lead to feelings of guilt. We start to think we're not valid, strong, or capable of being positive in the face of adversity. Worse still, they can lead us to idealize, infantilize, or avoid the pain. Avoidance isn't strength. It's cowardice disguised as positivity. This is not how we heal. This is not how we move forward. There's a culture of rejection toward vulnerability, almost a dismissive attitude toward those who feel down or depressed. It's as if they're judged as less intelligent, simply because they're not skilled enough to manage their emotions in a positive way. We can't fall into such dysfunctional approaches. For example, after a job loss, a breakup, or similar events, we can't just convince ourselves that we must instantly transform it into an opportunity. No time to waste, not even a little pity party allowed. If I've been fired, for instance, I'm supposed to quickly find the energy to see it as an opportunity to grow and reinvent myself professionally. The truth is, when the foundations of a person begin to shake, everything becomes unstable. If we return to Maslow's hierarchy, we need solid ground to move forward. It's not the time to pressure someone going through a painful breakup, job loss, or rejection to find the silver lining. Now let's talk about acceptance, but we need to understand it properly. It's not about just accepting the harsh reality as it is. Viktor Frankl, a psychiatrist and Holocaust survivor, developed logotherapy, which focuses on finding meaning in life, even in extreme suffering. In his book, Man's Search for Meaning, he explains that the real strength to face pain doesn't come from ignoring it or using happiness glasses. Instead, it comes from confronting suffering with a deeper sense of purpose and values. Frankl teaches that suffering is inevitable, but we can choose how to respond. It's not about avoiding pain or feeling guilty for it, but finding meaning in it. Frankl observed that in concentration camps, those who survived weren't necessarily the physically strongest, but those who could find purpose even in the darkest moments. And pain is part of life, just like love, joy, and passion. If you expect to live without pain, what you're really doing is stopping yourself from living. And here's a crucial decision. Will you keep running away from fear, pain, mistakes, trying to control everything? Or will you be loyal to yourself, free, authentic, and live the life you want with self-love and the courage to fight for what moves you, what makes you feel alive? The key: connect both with what moves you, what makes you feel alive, and with what hurts. Yes, even if it stings, because when you do, that's where your true strength is born. The strength of weakness, that vital strength that drives you. Because when something touches your soul, then you have the courage to face it all. Pain is often what drives us to fight and change. From pain emerges the strength of vulnerability, the survival instinct that activates and allows us to face adversity. If we simply shield ourselves to avoid the pain, this strength will never be triggered. Now, let's talk about the power of attitude, but without exaggerating its influence. While attitude is important, it's not a cure-all. It can shape how we approach challenges, but it doesn't erase the reality of pain or adversity. Sometimes, to break free from pain, you'll need to confront fear. Other times, it will require stepping out of your comfort zone, taking responsibility for your life, and fighting for what you truly want. In many cases, resigning yourself, settling into toxic relationships or bad jobs, no matter how much you wear those happiness glasses from positive psychology, won't help. But now let's separate and talk about managing the smaller and medium-sized adversities of life, the ones we can actually handle, where attitude and productivity make all the difference. We live in the society of drama, discouragement, chronic complaining, and terminal terribilities. Well, I'm just feeling awful. I ordered a latte and they brought me decaf. Come on, where is the drama? Life in reality is pretty good. So, where's all this drama coming from? Well, sometimes we just need to put things into perspective. We live in a bubble where any small problem turns into a Greek tragedy. Enough. Life does have its problems, yes, but if what you're dealing with are just circumstances to be resolved, as long as you've only got circumstances, you have no excuse to lose your joy. Now, what's unforgivable is that those of us who are not in a drama live as if we were. That's the one thing we can't do. If today you don't have a drama, today is your day to be grateful. Today is your day to help those who do. On the day you feel really low, do this. Grab pen and paper, yes, old school style, and write down 10 wonderful things you have in your life. 10 reasons to be grateful. We all have 10, every one of us. Getting now perspective? Come on. And now, let's return to the topic of attitude. Because yes, it's true, there are a lot of people out there who feel drained. Poor souls, overwhelmed, stressed out, fed up with everything. And who could blame them? You open the news, and it's all crisis, tragedy, fear. And if on top of that work isn't going well, your mom is sick, you're stuck in a relationship that's falling apart, or you've got a teenager pushing you to your limits, then of course it builds up and builds up and builds up, until boom, you feel overwhelmed, like you're carrying a backpack full of invisible stones. But here's the key. You get to decide what you do with that backpack. You can't control the world, you can't control other people, but you can control how you respond, proactively or reactively. Because while we can't choose every circumstance, we can choose our attitude toward them. And attitude can many times change everything. Your attitude is your power. It's your flag. It's the frequency you send out into the world. And don't get me wrong. Let's not fall into the simplicity of blind positivity, of forcing a smile without awareness, without humanity, without responsibility, like someone slapping a band-aid on their soul and turning their back on the world. No. I can't look away knowing there are dozens of active wars, that just a few 100 kilometers from my country 1,000 people die every day, and simply ignore it. No. But I can ask myself, what can I do? Because that's the key, discernment, not carrying what's beyond my reach, but fully owning what is within my power. I can choose to be part of the solution. I can choose not to vote for the least bad party and stop feeding a system of corruption that doesn't represent me. I can exercise my freedom and not vote if there's no worthy option. I can stop buying and consuming from companies that harm society with their practices. I can speak up, share, raise awareness in the right spaces. Because it does matter. Because awareness, education, discernment, and freedom are the foundations of a society that truly wants to heal. And none of that stops me, at all, from living with joy, with gratitude, with fullness. It doesn't steal my light. It doesn't disconnect me from the everyday miracle of turning on the tap and getting hot water, of walking safely down the street, of being able to express myself freely. Because, yes, life here is really good. And precisely because of that privilege, we can and must contribute to a conscious collective change before it's too late. Each of us, starting from our own little square meter. Because that's not a small thing, that's exactly where it all begins. And this is the proposal for today. Don't abandon yourself. The true path of personal development lies in identifying who you are through self-awareness, recognizing your strengths and weaknesses. This allows you to understand your possibilities in relation to your context, circumstances, and talents. From there, guided by your life goals and purposes, you walk a path with joy, acceptance, and love, both for others and for yourself. Huge thanks for watching. If you like it, please kindly leave a like. I would love to hear from you. If you have any discussion ideas, please do share them. See you in the next video.